So we are now recording, and we are live on Facebook, and I'm outside. And welcome, Jeff. How are you? Oh, you're muted. Hold on. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. Oh, hold on a second. I can barely hear you. I hope people could hear me. I've been talking for 5 minutes.
Oh,
There
I
you
can hear
are.
you.
You can hear me. Okay, good. Here we
I can
are.
hear you. No, you're fine.
Okay, well, I'm outside, and these glasses, I can't read without them, and they're the kind that darken outside, so here I am.
I have a love-hate relationship with those. I really like them because they get dark. But when I go inside, it takes a few minutes for them to clear up. So I'm blind for the first few minutes inside. I have to take them off anyway.
Yeah, it's not too bad for me, but I have found, like, I'm sitting in the shade right now where I prefer the sun, but I can't see the computer screen. I can't read a book. I can't do anything because they are so dark. But for most like driving, they're wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Facebook people, we have on Michael Chambers and Rosalie Englund, Kathleen Dara. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, welcome. It's our Facebook Sethies.
Our Facebook Sethies, and I think we had homework last week, so it was practical
We
Seth.
did have homework. Oh, that's right.
Practical Seth, and
For some of us, it's not homework anymore.
Right, it's life.
Life.
but it's talking about our practical lives and how we view it using Seth's teachings. And I said last couple of weeks, I have been reading Oversoul 7, and I just oh my God, I love it. I just finished the second book, so the further education of Oversoul 7. So I just started
Oversoul 7.
Yeah. The end of it was just amazing. I just put up a meme, actually, on Facebook. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
My favorite of the three is Oversoul 7 and the Museum of Time.
And I'm just starting that one.
I'm a time buff. That's the time and dimensions. It's the kind of stuff I'm into.
It is, and that's hard to really grasp. So and the end of this book, I think, really dug into that deep. So the meme I put up is from this, and I look at this book as a Seth inspired book, even though it's a novel that Jane wrote. So she's using his philosophies and his teachings. So the quote I put up was, "Because hate is love, looking for itself every place but where love is. And love is what you feel for yourself when you know that you are where you're supposed to be in the universe, and that you're lovely just because you are, and of course, charmed." I thought that was so beautiful. And in the very beginning of or the end of the little book that Oversoul 7 wrote is that everything is magic. And if we remember the magic and know that we have the magic within us, that we do have a charmed life.
It's remembering. It's not that we have to learn anything. We already know it. It's just remembering it. And I found myself with that frame of mind when I was reading the Seth books. It's like I would read something and I'd say, "But I know that." But then I'd say, "But I didn't know that." It's strange. It's kind of a remembering.
And it's not even, it's a remembering, it's a believing. I mean, you can know something, but to believe it and to use it every day. And I think that the world is believing it. And, it talked about how when so many people change their beliefs from worrying to just being, that life will get better. That the worrying goes away. And I think he talked about it being big, large, ominous mountains. So I am loving this book.
I think that the Oversoul 7 books, because at the time the Seth material was so difficult for so many people that Jane put it into a story form to
Mm-hmm.
where there's actual examples of people. And so I just found it very,
Helpful.
very interesting. And it's not written for a very, I mean, it's not like college level stuff. This is really easy to read storybook stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is. And the little book, if just everybody read that little book about how life really is and that the magic is here. And I know, especially in, what I do, so I teach Reiki here, and when we talk about magic, I didn't look at
Mhm.
it in these terms. So it's more dark magic, and we don't abide by that here, but there are lots of people that do. So everything here is with just love and light. So, and we don't call it magic, but it is magic. It's good magic, and it's natural, and getting back to nature.
Mhm.
Yeah. The part
And
about
the
the,
thing about it is we do it all the time, and we do it so naturally that we're not even aware of it.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Um, Now, if we can do it consciously, like that's the thing, trying to get to do it consciously and with more people. And I understand why we gravitate towards like-minded people, because
Mhm.
of course, because we want to encourage that feeling within ourselves.
And I don't think that's so unusual. I think most people throughout history have gravitated to people who are like them. And that's why we have, different countries, different cities, different regions.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think people are more comfortable with people that they can relate to. Not that there's anything wrong with the other people, because they have their own that they flock, as we use the term flock. He is in a flock too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we see that all the time. Oh, there comes Audrey. Let me get her in. So how's your week been?
Uneventful.
Good. Good. Ours
I
too.
was cutting back. I was cutting back almond trees yesterday at our lodge, and I
Oh.
really hurt today. I'm not as young as I think I am, but I guess I'm not as old as I feel either.
Oh. And here comes
Hi,
Mickey.
Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
Battery for 100%.
Okay.
Hi, I can hear you.
All right. How are
Hi,
you?
Audrey.
Hi, I'm good.
You
I guess,
guys had an earthquake this morning, I hear.
yes, I think it's the earth feeling all the energy.
Did you feel it?
Yeah,
Okay, because we didn't feel anything here in New York.
I think Long
How big
Island.
was it?
Four
How big
point
was it?
4.2, I think. Oh, 4.0.
Oh, those will rattle your windows and wake you up at night. I live in California.
Uh,
Well,
you
your
have,
buildings are built for it. Ours is, I don't think are.
Yeah. We
it
get
felt
window
like
rat. I call them
it
window
felt like a,
rattlers.
sorry, it felt like a truck was, a big heavy truck was going down the street.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. All right. Hi,
And the
Kind of
Mickey.
plants
cool.
will sway.
No, this one didn't sway. There was one in New York. It felt like a wave,
Yes, I felt that one.
and this one was just a rattling.
I was in the earthquake in '89 in San
Ooh,
Francisco,
wow.
and I was on a street corner, and you could hear it coming, and that
Oh,
you could see the ripples. You could see the buildings actually going up
Really?
and back, and it would just came and went. And as soon as it hit, the electric went off. All the traffic lights went off. It's the power is supposed to go off when it hits a 5 point. It's to stop the fires from the gas.
oh, wow.
So
I
everything went
remember.
dark. All the electric buses and everything just stopped right in the middle of the road.
I watched it on the news. I mean,
Mm.
highways and caved in and oof, scary. Hi, Mickey.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Mickey.
Hi. Are you okay, Audrey? I hear
Oh
you
yeah,
all are
yeah.
talking about the earthquake.
Yeah, all is good here. Just a little rattling. It wasn't a big one.
Okay,
And
good.
they tell us we're supposed to get under the desk or get in a window jam or something. I tell you, this old man will be the first one out the front door. I'm not
I
being
know that's
inside
right.
anywhere.
Well, I had not ever experienced it until I came to England. And my
Oh,
now husband shocked me by saying, "Oh, yeah, we have those all the time." And I'm like, "What?"
I didn't know
And,
that.
and it was, once in a while.
Hmm.
Okay. But no one here was shocked by the idea. But then we moved to Greece, and baby,
Um,
you don't know any time when you are going to feel an earthquake.
Wow.
And one woke me up, and I was scared out of my mind. And he just looked at me like, "What's the problem?"
Wow.
Everybody was talking about it, but it does happen a lot.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I've only felt one in my whole life, and it was that rolly feeling. Um,
they
yeah.
sit over there, Greek coffee, and discuss, "Oh, this one wasn't much, was it? No, I didn't break anything. No, mine only, and it just blew my mind how much they had accepted it as a part of their reality. And
Wow.
they
Sounds
talk
like
in
us.
terms of, well, what level was it this time? And well, what did it destroy? Then I'll tell you,
Right. Right.
what?
Was there any damage,
Sounds like us
Audrey, anywhere?
in California.
no,
Good.
no, it was quick. I didn't know what it was in the beginning. I thought it was a truck rumbling down the street.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
All
yes.
right.
Oh,
Mm.
It's
Well,
kind of cool.
I have to say, Audrey, your photographs this week have
Yeah.
been
yes.
outstanding. Uh,
It,
Yes.
it was such a great walk.
uh,
I mean, I've seen deer on the highway, but to see a buck and a doe in the wild was beyond.
And you live in a place with such beautiful nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get back to Massachusetts, though. Nicer, but I have to wait. Lockdown.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yes.
And I've never been to Rhode Island, and I don't live that far away, so I'm gonna have to make a point to come to Rhode Island and see that area.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I'll
It
show
is
you
beautiful.
around.
All right. Yeah. I
It
mean,
is
I've been
beautiful.
to a little of the New England states, but Rhode Island is not one. A little bit of Massachusetts. We drove through last year. We went to Nova Scotia, so we drove through Vermont, New Hampshire, Mass, into Maine, and up into Canada, New
Yeah.
Brunswick, and around. So we did
Yeah.
that. We did that last summer, and oh God, it was such a wonderful trip.
Yeah.
We
Beautiful.
loved Maine. It was just gorgeous there.
I'm going to make it that way one day. I haven't been to Maine, Massachusetts a lot, and
Uh-huh.
of course, Connecticut.
Yeah.
From New York to Boston.
Now I was in Connecticut, but not much of it, just Hartford. And that was years ago. My mother was there in a hospital, so I used to go and visit her there. So, but New York is fun, and it's all of our, well, you can see around me. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
in my
do.
backyard.
I
So,
see.
so the tree here, this is a maple that's the last one with leaves on it, and they're bright yellow. And most everything, like this tree here, is lost all its leaves now. But it was just too nice out today to not sit outside.
I thought about it, but
Well, I'm trying to see.
I'm
It
cold.
is it is 72 degrees.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Oh, that's perfect.
oh, it's outstanding. And I had to get in the shade because I couldn't see the screen in the sun. So here I
It's
am. And
beautiful.
oh my God, it is just gorgeous. And I thought, I cannot sit and do Seth Talk for 2 hours and not be outside. So I brought the computer out. So I'm at 79% battery and I have no electricity. So if I have to go in the house, it's slow going because I don't have my brace on. My knee still hurts, but I'm definitely healing. Yeah.
And how's Oshara?
She is doing well. She's healing. Her knee's been hurting her the last 2 days, so she's still on crutches and in a brace. So
Wow.
the two of us are just, we're just supposed to be
Chilling.
quiet and still, and yeah, and we're letting people help us, and that's making them feel good. And thank God my daughter's been a godsend and her family. So yeah, even the neighbors have been popping over here. I had a neighbor yesterday. This shop was open, and he brought over some pieces of wood that someone had cut out. And he goes, "Would you like a project to paint?" So I'm gonna try
Oh.
painting some sunflowers on some wood and be able to, put it outside instead of real flowers. So it'll brighten up for the winter anyway.
That
Yeah.
sounds nice.
Yeah. So life is going good here.
Good.
I
How
must say the background has improved dramatically because
it,
that's lit. Oh,
and
it's so
I wore
beautiful.
fall too.
Yes, you did. Yes.
I wanted to. This is my camouflage world. Blend
Well, I
right
wore
in.
purple tonight because of everybody talking about the unity of the red and blue being purple. So that's our
Oh,
new watchword that we're all going to be
purple.
purple,
Okay, nice,
where we have come together finally, and
nice,
we
nice.
rebuild from here and
Yes.
heal the country. So we're
Yes,
not blue or red, we're purple. We're all purple Americans, which is great. That's
it
a
is.
color of royal spirituality. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yes. Yeah. And if you follow, I used to do red tents here
Right.
for women, and purple tents are for the wise women. So that
Right.
those are the ones after the red stops.
Right.
And so yeah, I know the deep meaning of the purple, the royal purple. Yeah. Beautiful.
I looked
Yeah.
up earthquakes on the Seth search engine,
Oh,
Oh.
and it said they're electromagnetic feelings, emotions that the
Mhm.
earth is feeling, and makes sense.
it
I'm
does.
surprised it's not happening every 10 seconds then. I'm sure Gaia is ready to slap us.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Slap New England.
we just need to be more connected to her. That's all.
I think we will be.
Yeah, I do too. I do
I
too.
think the earth now, I think the different countries are happy that we will finally be able to discuss it across the waters, like the coming together of almost everybody who wants to do something about healing this planet.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have big hopes for that anyway. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm such an optimist.
I don't see it.
Mm,
Really.
I do. I see it, and I think people are going to start to realize that you don't have a choice. If you don't do
Uh,
something about
I,
it,
I,
there
I
won't
always
be
have
any
a
there.
choice.
Huh?
I always have a choice.
Oh, okay. So you have a rocket out in your backyard so you can leave
No,
when we
but I have
burn
a
all
choice.
this up. I mean, we're poisoning it, burning it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to do something. I hope we
Yep.
can. I hope we can. Yeah. Who knows? I have to be an optimist. I'm such a pie-eyed optimist.
More people need to be that way, Mickey. That's wonderful.
I'm living in a pleasant bubble, huh?
It's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm just
feeling
so
good.
relieved.
Yes.
Emotionally, I am relieved. I really am. So
I'm just the opposite, so I'm not
really?
going to go in. I'm not going to go there. I'll say things I don't want to do. I'll regret
Okay.
later. So let's
Okay.
move on.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll all march along together and see where we end up.
Mhm.
That's okay. We're still
Some,
together.
some of us will just watch, though.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Oh,
Some
good.
folks are with the mic and some folks are in the audience watching to see what happens on stage. So that's cool.
But
It's
healing,
fun. We
but
got you whether you like it or not.
but healing absolutely has to happen
Yeah.
across the board for
Yeah.
the earth, for nature, for humans, for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think nature would
Oh,
win out in the end, though.
now you're telling me we don't live in a safe universe.
No, I think we do. And I think we're a part of making it so.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. You do it well.
Because we
Yeah.
can't say in 1 minute the world is everything's where the point of power is now we live in a safe universe, and then on the flip side say, well, you know what, we don't.
I think we
Everything is
do.
to hell, and the earth is going to crumble underneath our feet.
Oh, I
No,
don't
I
think
think
the
we
No, I
earth
don't
is
think
the
that.
earth is never going to crumble.
No,
People
it's not going anywhere.
people may leave it,
Right.
but the earth is going to prevail. You
Yeah.
know,
And
she
then it'll
has.
flourish after
Oh,
we're gone.
absolutely, she will flourish. So yeah, that's not
She'll
an
go,
issue.
"Phew, what the hell was that? I'm glad we got
Exactly. That was just a blip in her screen.
Yeah, I'm glad we got this raid because it finally got rid of those.
Oh yeah, the earth will certainly prevail. Oh, well, Martin is here. Let's get him in.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, this is our regular bunch. We're all here now. You know, and it's funny. I send out like 25 invites. 25. And
Wow.
and this is, you know, and of course I'm one of them. You know, I do send it to myself too. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
Hey, Joe. Hi. Hi, Audrey. I think Audrey's there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard.
You hear my accent.
Any news
Hello,
from
Martin.
Boston, Audrey?
No, I'm still waiting. It
Oh,
took a
boy.
minute. They're not really there. I don't know how I think they're working remotely still. So no word yet. I'm
Okay.
still now verifying that she sent the permission in again.
Okay. It doesn't surprise me. I think most of our colleges and high schools and grade schools, everybody's on remote right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're locked down in England, right? Again?
Very much so. Yes.
And
Hi, Nick.
strong. You can only be
Yeah.
out
This
if
is
you
level 3, I think they said. Yeah.
Okay.
This is really locked down. You have a bubble of acceptable relatives. And you can't be more than 6. But you have everybody has their own little family pod that you're allowed.
hmm
But you
And
can't
how
mix households.
how is your family member that was sick? Your
Not that
grandson?
great. It's
Oh,
still the same. It's now been almost a month, well, about a month, and he is really not feeling good. You know,
Hmm.
he wouldn't even discuss it with me yesterday because he didn't want to be negative. He
Oh,
said it
wow.
was, everybody is celebrating all over the place, and he said he didn't want to, excuse the French, piss in my cereal. So
Oh,
Ew.
it's
French.
an
Blech.
expression. It's an expression. It really
I've never heard
it
that
sums it
before.
up. Yeah, it sums it up very well. It's graphic.
Okay.
But he let it be known that it's not improving yet.
Now you said he was what, 37,
About 38.
38?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
and he's a healthy young
a
guy.
health nut. I
Thrives.
mean, he's
Okay.
absolutely gorgeous and fit and
Mhm.
muscular and teaches coaching to other people and all
Oh.
of that. Eats very healthy,
Uh-huh.
doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. It's just amazing. But
Well,
it's blown his mind how much it has really shut him down.
wow.
Now, on the other hand, the relative that was only 18, he's just fine, kicked it off, it's done, and he's moved on.
Yeah, I guess we just don't ever know how we're going to react to anything. Now, did he ever get really, really sick where he had to be hospitalized, or
No,
it's
not to
just
that
a
extent. He was in a university dormitory, and there are a lot of people on campus who have it, but they're all young.
Mhm.
So, not many of them at all were sick on a heavy level. You
Mhm.
know, they had major discomfort in terms of uh, like all flu symptoms,
breathing. Mhm.
but yeah, breathing and whatnot, sore throat, whatever. But that passed within, say, 10 days.
Mhm. So his
Uh,
is just lingering.
and a lot of people have come home from university for the lockdown. A lot of kids left the campus and came home the day
Mhm.
before the lockdown started, so that once it did start, they wouldn't be stuck in a dormitory all alone, you know,
Right.
in their rooms. I mean, if you got to be closed in, you don't want to be in a tiny box.
No.
Right.
So many of them came home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have family close to you? Like
Yeah.
uh,
Um,
local
m-
that you guys
my
get together?
daughter, oh yeah, they're here in the same city.
Oh, okay.
It's Jack's family, my husband's family.
Okay.
And I mean, he has 3 sons and they all have grandchildren, you know. I mean, so what I call grandchildren are actually our great grandchildren,
Oh.
except when I'm talking about the American relatives.
Mhm.
Now, those really are grandchildren. So
Oh, okay. All
my
right.
daughter's just past the age of this guy I'm saying is ill, but he's actually a
A
he's the
great
father
grandson.
of most of the kids I talk about, and he's a grand, so they're great grands. We just don't
Okay.
say them that way because they're grown.
Sure.
You know,
Of-
the grandchildren are grown up. So
yeah.
Grands are grands, yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
it's amazing.
I've been thinking about him all week, and so hopefully he
Yeah,
starts turning a corner real quick.
I hope so
Yeah.
too. I've been sending a lot of healing light, and I've split myself up to several streams of it because there are several friends we know of where we're sending healing energy a lot nowadays,
Uh-huh.
so to speak.
Well,
And
in the very beginning, before you guys came on, I was reading a little bit from Oversoul 7.
mm,
God, I am so loving this book. This
isn't
is
it wonderful?
oh my God, it's one of the best books. And I wonder if I could find it really quick but he just talked about how we're magic and how we just have to know that we're magic. And
Yes.
and then the magic just, I can't find it quick. And then the magic just happens when we believe the power and the magic that we hold and that we have created ourselves and that we actually create each new day every day when we wake up. I mean, that
Hmm.
just blew my mind.
Yes.
Blew my
Yes.
mind. Yeah. But, and believing that, not just hearing it or, intellectually knowing it, but
Exactly.
really believing with everything in us that we have that magic within us to create that beautiful world that we want so desperately.
It's almost like a reverse effort because it's not about going trying to
Right.
press hard. It's not that at all. It's the opposite.
It's
You
letting
get to the
go.
point where you realize you believe it and you don't think about it
Mm-hmm.
because you believe it. I believe I'm alive. I don't think about it every minute. And I wonder how to keep doing this. And no, it's just there and I know it. It's a
Yeah.
knowing inside. And you have to reach that point with it. And then the magic is fluent.
Right. So, listening to what Jeff said, when we believe that we are in a safe universe and that things
Yes,
are
then
going
we
the right
are.
way, and the
Yeah,
more people that actually believe in that same fashion, then that co creation starts happening for the best.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
This is our practical Seth here. We're talking.
Yes.
Sometimes I need it.
We all need it. We all
Yeah.
need it. I think there's always times that we forget and
Yes.
times when, there's more that don't believe the way we believe. And, we just have to be diligent at remembering that how powerful we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not be afraid of it.
I actually had an experience one time that really validated that. And I don't get freaked out. I don't go around doing this all the time. In fact, I can't do it. I mean, when I want to do it. But a friend of mine was really, really smashed drunk one time. And for some reason, he dropped something on the floor, and rather than pick it up, I just swung it up. I mean, I moved it with my mind, but
Ooh.
only because he was drunk. I couldn't do it for his friends because they were sober. I don't know. I wasn't drunk. but I know that's
And who
freaky.
was this again?
Like I said, I
A
don't. It was a
friend.
friend of mine about 20
Oh.
odd years ago, maybe almost 30 years ago. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So maybe because he was inebriated, there was no judgment
there was
and
No
no
resistance.
resistance. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
beautiful.
Wow.
So our ability to do things really is hampered in part
Yes.
by the group mind that we're working with.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Has anybody been to a spoon bending party?
Yeah,
That
me.
sounds fun.
I've seen it, but never been.
Yes, I have.
I've
Yeah.
been able to do it with a fork and a spoon.
I haven't done it myself, but I was aware. I was at a person's home where they were all doing it. They had done it before and I hadn't, so I was observing.
Mhm.
It was very amazing to see. Quite.
One of the institutes out here has like a weekly spoon bending party. That's why I asked.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
really?
All right. Years ago, I belonged to a little spiritualist community, and every Tuesday night we would get together and do something. So one night was spoon bending, another night was Ouija. We did table tipping, so all kinds of little things. So
Yeah.
I was able to dabble with a lot of different stuff, and did it, tried it, and then was over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it helps to, those things build up in terms of your belief, like you were talking about
Mhm.
believing in the power that we have. And you get to the point where you've tried 5, 6, 7 different ways that all prove to you
Mhm.
that this stuff is possible. So
Absolutely.
you get better at projecting your belief because you do know it. You build your knowing, I think.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. We have to believe it, and here we are humans, whereas everything is, you have to see it to believe it. So we have to do a couple of those little things so that then we can believe, and then it becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
I say you got to believe it to see it.
Yeah.
I
Believe
agree.
it
I was
first,
thinking
yeah.
that. I was thinking that. Yeah.
Yep.
I
Right.
think Seth, there's somewhere where Seth says that. That's the order of it. The real order is that you have to believe it to see it
Yes.
instead of the other way around.
And I think he did say it, and who really said it all the time was Wayne Dyer.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I even think he had a book by that name.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yes, I like him.
Yeah.
It's funny though, I have not been able to warm to Eckhart Tolle or Tolle. I don't know how you say his name. I think it's Tolle.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. It leaves me absolutely cold for some reason.
I started reading his first book and I lost it. I don't know what happened to it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
haven't been
universe
able
is telling you, put it down.
Yes.
The only other channeler I'm really into is Abraham from Esther Hicks.
I
I think
liked it.
she mirrors Seth. Most of our Sethies we call Abraham Seth Light.
Yes, exactly. I agree. I
Puts
do
it into
like
a
it very
very easy to understand format in today's
Mhm.
language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Still the same stuff.
You can feel the vibe is so similar. It's derivative, you know. Yeah. I think she's actually admitted that it's derivative on some
Well,
occasions.
she started with Seth.
Yes.
She was going down the bookstore aisle, and I think it was Seth Speaks or alternatively something fell off the shelf onto the floor in front of her, and she picked it up.
Yeah.
I think is the way the story goes, and then she started reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that very much.
And I think her husband was interested, and they did Ouija work, and then I think the first time she publicly channeled was at a Seth conference.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting,
Yeah,
the two of them. They had a lovely energy.
Several YouTube videos, maybe a dozen or so of Abraham and Esther Hicks talking about the Seth material.
Uh-huh.
There's one, and boy, I know I posted a meme about it a while ago, but when they talked about Seth, at the very end, Esther or Abraham said, and that was your Seth that was speaking.
Oh.
So that was kind of cool. And I remember I
Whoa.
transcribed it and I made a meme out of it. So it's on Seth somewhere. Yeah. And,
You know,
and you can Google Abraham, Hicks, and Seth, and they'll all come up. So it's on YouTube.
Abraham was saying that Seth is a cluster personality, and so is he. So is it. So is he.
Right. Right.
So we're getting the information from the same place, just from a different person. It's part of the different entity that's part of the cluster.
Right, a different personality. Well, and Seth said that this isn't his information. This is information that belongs to everyone. He's just bringing it in the best way because he is a speaker and he always has been. That's why I have just the hardest time with him not coming back.
Yes.
You know, I really take that to heart, and it makes so much sense to me that there's more that the world needs to hear and know.
I think it's a very complicated subject. It's a very complicated thread that runs between all the various enthusiastic groups. And, you know, people fall on one side of the issue or the other. And I don't think it diminishes the validity of it at all.
Right.
It's just simply different opinions of how it will manifest. And
right. And whoever is doing the channeling, you're either going to resonate that it's really correct information and it's Seth-like, or it's not.
Or it's not. Yeah. Who knows? I've ceased to worry about it. I'm just very, very happy that I know of all of it.
Yes.
And that, you know, to be smack in the center of it again is wonderful and pleasant and affirming. And I don't really give a rat's bum. You know, people, they do what they're going to do. They get what they're going to get in whatever way they think so. And it's just, we think that there was a man named Einstein. We think there was a guy named Tesla. We think there was, hey, you know, some people are going to refute that no matter how many photos there are of him or what he said or records of what he said. And it's just, it is what it is.
There is a really great scientist who does refute Einstein. He says Einstein's wrong about a lot of stuff.
Oh, I've heard that
he was
too.
He was a contemporary of Einstein.
Yes, and
I can't
some of the
remember his
people come
name.
along afterwards, you know, have examined his theory of relativity, and they've gone beyond it. So it's not so, you know, he was of that era, and that's wonderful, but we have moved on and we know a little bit more now. And so they're reevaluating what that part of history was really discovering and what it was about, you know. It's just all so vast. I saw a post this week earlier. Some of you may have seen it on my page, but some scientists have taken the video records of one of the different probes that went out for years. It's been over 30 years it's been away. And it sent back some photographs, and they have compiled them, sort of like looking at frames of a movie where you finally get it to run and you can see a lot more than if you're looking at one photograph. And so they compiled a rendering of what the photos were showing. And it said, "You are here." And it showed where our galaxy is. And it was this tiny, tiny, tiny dot on what looked like spaghetti, you know, I mean, a whole bunch of very hair-like trails. And it said that it was a photograph of a part of the sky where there were literally trillions of galaxies. And they showed where, when they said "you are here," they were talking about our galaxy. It was this very tiny dot. And the stream of light coming from all these different planets and solar systems and galaxies had formed what looked like a whole trail of white light trails, you know, just hair-like structures, showing how really big everything is. When you're talking a structure that contains a billion of something and then saying you've got trillions of those,
Hmm.
it puts this scale on things that is just mind blowing. So
You
Now,
know
I
what
don't
I find? I find what else I find is mind blowing is that
what
what you're describing
no
only exists in our dimension.
really.
Doesn't
That's
exist in
very
other dimensions.
interesting take on it. That's very interesting indeed. I'm sure that there are as many trillions of different dimensions now as
Hmm.
okay,
you know.
all right, Jeff, I have a question about that. So if our probable selves are they living in this dimension? I thought they were living in a parallel dimension.
I think so.
That was my understanding. So if what you're saying, Jeff, then are all
Well,
probable
maybe
selves here in this dimension?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
I
I
don't
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 even
either.
think
either.
I don't even think they're on this on the same planet. I don't even think they're in the same form that we're in.
No.
It's
So,
as vast and as varied as there are grains of sand on the beach.
Right. Right.
so there's probably many dimensions that don't have this universe, blah blah blah, but there are others that do.
That
We
do.
aren't the only one that experiences this.
No. And I think
No,
the
Okay.
yeah.
the profundity of
Okay. Okay.
how non-unique we are, I think that is just so profoundly true. You know, it's on a scale, the
You
truth
know,
of it, it's on a scale that boggles the mind because there how
Yeah.
many other ways to exist could there possibly be? You know, when there are trillions of galaxies. Oh my gosh.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah, but
Even
you're thinking in physical terms. And once
mhm.
you take the physical out of it, what is
yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I agree in the non-physical we wouldn't have that because it's unlimited. But the non-physical can manifest here.
Yeah,
I do believe that.
I do too.
Mm.
Getting deep.
I know, it's interesting, and we're,
But then you have to remember everything's an illusion anyway. We don't see with our eyes, we don't smell with our nose, we don't hear with our ears. Those are all vibrations that are picked up by our senses and sent to our brain. So it's all
Mm,
again vibrational frequency.
yes,
hmm.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm playing with the idea for the last few months of our physical reality simply being a form of perception we have about certain vibrations, certain cycles of vibration, and how we pick them up as physical things we're seeing, but they're really that there isn't anything but vibration.
It's like the screen we're looking at, the Zoom screen with these boxes on it. They're
Right.
really not there. Your computer is just sending out the frequency vibrations that it sends
Right.
out onto a screen and projects it the same way that we project out into the world and we see it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Takes some getting used to, but
Mm.
I am starting to pull that in, embrace it, kind of pull it into my awareness, so to speak, so that it's much more often familiar, that it's much more part of my awareness. The parts of the day when I think about it are starting to blur into each other,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
that I believe
Yeah.
And
it
that's
more
all a
of the
part of the
time.
magic.
Yes,
That's right.
yes,
Seth has said many times, we view the world from the inside out, not the outside in, and that we project like a movie projector out everything that we want to see, and each person sees something different, and the parts that we agree on is what creates our shared reality.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that whole thing about being created in something's image, I think that the trail of how it functions is mirrored in the things we're discovering about how our reality functions. And I think it's very characteristic of the way that creation is. And so, to me, that's all tied, all resonant. I
Yeah.
don't think it can be any other way.
Mm.
It's a trip to take in,
It,
though.
it's almost like what we've been taught, what we've been told, you can
Yeah,
almost flip everything. And
exactly.
it's exactly the opposite.
The opposite. Yeah,
Well, Seth says that, man created the gods to be what they needed. If they needed that
exactly.
strong father figure, that, one that was going to keep them in line.
And we keep
And
changing that as our
I
needs
I
change.
hope so.
Yes,
We
as
need
our
to
needs
change
change.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
do. And I think it's happening.
Time of the goddess is rising.
Yes, it is.
And
Again,
Seth
because
would
it's not the first.
Yes. Well,
Seth would say we're all gods, and
yes.
Yes,
that
we are. Yes.
all that is much more than what we consider God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are sparks from deity. Yeah.
Mhm.
I revel in that.
Absolutely. So
All that is, I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say our Facebook people are very quiet today.
Oh,
A
really?
couple of little comments just saying Judy's here, she's tuning in. Joe is on. Congratulations, Americans.
Oh.
So we've got a couple of people on and watching, and
Yeah.
they're riveted to our words.
You're so funny.
What were you going to say, Martin?
All that is greater than God.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
what
Seth,
Jeff was saying.
and Seth
yesterday.
said, Seth says that all the attributes that we give to God, we're capable of doing, and that all that is so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we have no idea what the so much more than that could even be at this point. We're here learning as much as we can about the little bits so we can progress on to some of the bigger bits. Because we know nothing.
Yeah, well, I get so far into this, I'm like Oversoul 7. I have to ask my Oversoul for help because I get all mixed up in it. It's like
Yeah.
if I have an Oversoul and my Oversoul has an Oversoul and on, then God must have an Oversoul.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That messes with
It's
your head. Yeah.
too far in it for me to understand at this point.
But it's fun trying. I'm not frustrated by my lack of understanding. I'm grateful for the little bits that I gain. But even being aware of how much more there is doesn't make me upset about not attaining it. It's okay. I'm just so grateful for the bit I've got. And that keeps changing. I'm glad that it keeps changing. I'm happy that, that it can expand at whatever pace.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Because sometimes it speeds up and sometimes it slows way down.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm in a speed cycle right now. That's cool.
You're in a speed cycle. That's great.
Well, hooking up with Seth House
Mm-hmm.
has been the starting gun of a whole new speed cycle
Oh,
that
wow.
was simply quiet for 20 years.
Okay.
Same for me.
Wow. Now, I sent out
Yeah.
thank yous. Did you guys get them in the mail?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you
Okay.
for that. It was lovely. And it's
Good.
going right in the archives with everything else.
Ah, that's so sweet.
With my little piece of paint.
Oh, that's right. Audrey, you got your chip, right?
I did. Yes, right on the side of my bed.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's so wonderful to just know it's there. It has
yes.
its own little folder in my lockable uh, file cabinet. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I,
I
ne-
just,
I remember I never thought back in the 70s that in 2020 I'd have a paint chip from that, from the room.
Yes.
I
Yes.
know a little piece of the Seth House. I know,
Yeah.
and they are traveling all around the world.
Yes.
They really
wow.
are. I've sent them
Wow.
to China and Japan and Australia. I mean,
Wow.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
And see, that carries a resonant vibration with it. So that thing is just
Yeah.
exploding all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. So
That
if
vibration.
yes, if you guys go to the website and you look at the donor page,
Mm.
um, everybody got a chip.
Yes.
All the names that are listed there,
Yes.
I
Yes.
sent them a chip.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's been you know, and I put them together. Well, the first time we did like 150 of them. So I had help. We had a little work bee going on, whereas you know somebody found the right size chip and someone else cut the little felt pieces, and then
Yeah.
we glued the thing on so that you know it didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
Anyway, but for the most part I put them together. So I did yours, Audrey.
Thank you. I felt you in it.
It's a lovely thought.
And
It
it
really is.
was all Oshara. I mean, she was like, she saved every paint chip as we pulled them off and
Wow.
labeled them. She put them in big baggies and labeled them where the locations were that they came from. So
Wow.
all the ones we're sending out now have come from the bay windows.
Wow.
And I have a bag. I can probably do them for another 10 years. I have that many paint chips
Wow, that's great.
just from that area.
That
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
and
It's a
then
way of really
and-
feeling that you're touching it. You know, it just it's nice.
yeah, and I love the thought that we're spreading, and it has to be that you know we're spreading this around the world, and it has this vibration, and somehow, like when you split molecules, you know you can well, what is that called? The when you split a molecule and you change one particle, the other particle,
Oh yes,
you know whatever that scientific experiment
something
is,
coherence. I've
that's
forgotten what
real.
it's called.
Maybe it is coherence. So you have this now where we've taken paint chips that have this particular vibration and we're now moving them around the world. They're still all connected. They're
And they're
connected
forming
right
a
back
resonant
here.
network.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're connected
So-
right back here to Elmira.
Could we call those Seth seeds?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You're our ad man.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Seth
I
seeds.
just love that. So someday I'll try, maybe I'll get a map and I'll see where they've all gone to.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking when you said it, that this stuff, this vibration is going all across the globe and it's
Yes.
forming a resonance that touches from each one because they're all in touch with each other.
Yes.
You know, they're part of the same form, the same resonance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And they have the vibration of Seth in them, and Jane and Rob,
yeah.
and all the little animals that live there, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, she did have cats, didn't she?
I think they had a dog too at one time.
Did they? I
Yep,
couldn't
yep.
remember the dog.
Well, Willie, we've seen a couple of pictures of Willie because I
Oh.
didn't see any, and the Star Gazette had some. So Jane's good friend Peg Gallagher was a reporter for the Star Gazette.
I see.
And I knew her through the company where I used to work, and it's, you know, I never knew her personally, but she
Right.
was very, very well known in this area. And I do believe her husband was either a reporter or a photographer there. So they had many photographs, and she wrote many articles for Jane trying to help, you know,
Yeah,
bring
the word out.
awareness to what she was doing. So, so the Star Gazette had some old pictures that they used when they did the article for us that
Mhm.
we had never seen. And then
Oh.
they said, oh yeah, you guys could use them. So,
Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's just so nice, the vibration of you sitting there on the grounds with all the, you know,
Yeah, it is nice.
it's just amazing.
It feels good out here. It's really nice. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's cold here.
Is
Even my
it?
cats are up in chairs.
Oh my.
Yeah, you know, a month ago it was like 110 degrees, and now it's like 60.
What?
Well,
Well,
72 here.
It gets cold here. It doesn't. It gets into the 30s maybe. in the wintertime. It doesn't freeze or anything. We don't get snow or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend in Mammoth Lakes. I think they get snow up there, right?
Mm.
In Mammoth Lakes.
You know, I miss the snow. I grew up in Kentucky, and if you're in New York, it's practically the same thing. I don't miss, like blizzards, but I miss the changing of the seasons and get the snow. What I really miss are thunderstorms. It only rains here in
Oh, yeah.
It rains here in January and February, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. I love thunderstorms. Yeah.
Interesting.
I love the sound of wind blowing. That's my favorite weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to be in it, but just to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
My
This is
goal
my
is to get a
favorite,
picture of-
season. My
My
favorite
goal-
season is
Mm.
fall.
Fall.
Go ahead.
too. My goal is to get a picture of thunder, but we'll
Oh,
see.
Yeah.
that's an
picture of
interesting
thunder?
concept. How would you get a picture of something that's a sound?
Well, the flare, oh, lightning, you're right.
Eh,
You're right.
well,
No, I think you should try
There
to
is a way.
capture thunder too.
Yeah, that would be
Now that-
like a real coup.
No, they've taken pictures of sound and sound waves. Just find out how they do it. You might need to have smoke in the room or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure when
understand.
you have a really loud thunder and you were looking at a pond, you would see the vibrations.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to sit out in it, but from the
Maybe
back
a
deck-
maybe a glass of water. Maybe a glass of water.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'd see it on the surface of the water making.
Or maybe a
waves.
bathtub.
Mm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, you would.
Just don't get in
Because I
it.
know you can see an earthquake on water surface. If the vibrations of,
Yeah.
if you're in an earthquake, you're sitting in the tub, you can see the water, the ripples on the top of the water move.
I'm sure there's a technique for photographing sound. There's a technique for everything else.
Probably.
It probably
And I
is.
bet you can find it on YouTube.
Fine, yes.
I'm
It's so funny. We have a vacuum cleaner repair place, and she bought a house in Florida. She's moving, and she's like, the place is for sale. If anybody wants to buy a business, she's selling it for like $6,000 to $8,000.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a
Wow.
thriving business. She's the only one in the area that repairs anything. And I said, but you need that skill to be able to repair things
Yeah,
to
you
buy your
need the
business.
knowledge.
Right.
She says, no, you don't. She says, I go on YouTube and I say, this is what's wrong with it, and YouTube
Wow.
usually fixes it. I'm like,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
that's
Wow.
amazing.
So if anybody wants to move to Elmira and buy a nice business, there's one for sale. Very reasonably,
That's
mind you.
tempting.
I was blown away by how reasonable, but she just wants out. She's moving to she sold her house up here and she bought one in Florida, and they are moving in December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she
That's
doesn't
nice.
and she doesn't want to take the stuff with her. And she's like, and I'm not going to throw it
Oh.
away. So
Hmm.
Mm.
yeah.
That's
So
quite an opportunity.
there is opportunities here in this little area, and just imagine how close you would be to the Seth house.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That
So,
makes it
Now,
highly desirable.
Is Elmira in northern part of New York? Where is Elmira in the state of New
no,
York?
it is on the southern tier, so it's right on the border of Pennsylvania.
Oh, the
and
other
it's-
direction.
And it's about so the straight line of the length of Pennsylvania that goes from Erie to Binghamton, we're an hour west of Binghamton. And then from Binghamton, it kind of goes down into the city. So from where we live, it's about 4.5 hours to get to New York City. And it's like 3.5 hours to get to Erie, Pennsylvania. So we're
Mhm.
close to the middle. If you look on a map, we are pretty much below Syracuse.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I grew up in the greater Cincinnati area, so that's not too far away from there.
Mm.
No, we can be in Cincinnati in 4 hours, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a
So,
beautiful spot.
and it really is, I'll plug Elmira a little bit. It's the garden spot for weather in New York. So
Yeah.
what we have is New York gets a lot of lake effect snow. So
Uh-huh.
we're just west enough that we missed most of the nor'easters. Like we get snow from them, but we don't get the feet of snow. We get inches. And then the Finger Lakes bring snow in, but it misses Elmira. It like Binghamton
Mhm.
gets a lot, Corning gets a lot, but it misses that one little swath where we are. And then when you get the storms that come from the west, it kind of opens up where the mountains are and goes right around us. So we really get less snow than anywhere else in New York that I know of. So, you know, as far as weather goes, this is the garden spot.
I like the snow.
Well, I
I do
like
Yeah.
too.
snow too. I just don't like to shovel it.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
know,
mind.
I like to play in it or walk in it, but yeah,
Mm.
shoveling and my back just don't go together.
No.
And we do get,
It's
we
fun.
occasionally get the big storms, but not very often. We usually miss them. Like even when I see that big rainstorms are coming and we'll be watching them and I'll say, no, it's going to split. And sure enough, it opens up right below us and goes right around us.
You know, that happens to me here because I've got Mount Diablo. It's a 6,000-foot mountain right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So when the wind comes off the ocean, it pushes the wind up, the air up, and it condenses, and all the rain falls on the other side.
Okay.
Mm.
And then we don't get anything.
Mm-hmm. And I think because of how the mountains are, and
Mhm.
I know our mountains
Those
are
are-
way different than your mountains, ours are hills, but that's why we have such a good wine country, the grapes,
Mhm.
because of, I know it's very foggy where the lakes are, and on the one side of the lake, they grow certain kinds of grapes, and on the other side, a different kind of grapes grow. So we have a tremendous wine industry here.
Mm.
That's lovely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a big
That'll
fan
make
of.
me move.
Well, there you go. So you can be in wine country in like 20 minutes.
You can grow your own grapes and make your own wine.
Yes.
You could. Now I don't know that they grow so well in Elmira. We're a little far from, you know, where the lakes are, but yeah, 20 minutes and you're there. You know, 20 minutes and you can be in Watkins Glen, and you know, 40 minutes to
Yeah.
Ithaca. So and then the lakes are all in between there.
That sounds
So
very enticing.
it's a beautiful place, and fall is spectacular here. I mean,
Mhm.
and this year the colors were so vibrant. There were reds and oranges, and like this yellow is the last tree.
Mhm.
Even in the neighborhood,
It's
like I'm looking
golden.
around and there is no other trees.
It's
Everything else is
surrounded
bare. Yeah, and
golden leaves.
they're big leaves. Like let's see, look at these leaves. They're as big as my face.
Oh.
Like they're
Wow.
big.
Oh.
But isn't that
Yeah.
beautiful? I love them.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. This one I got for Oshara yesterday. Isn't that pretty?
That's very
Yeah.
nice. There's a post going around, not a post, an ad on television, commercial, where a man has taken the time he's in a forest and there's a carpet of very dark burgundy like leaves. And what he has done is carefully picked out some small ones about that big, little oval, and they're bright gold.
Mm-hmm.
So he has carefully laid them in a spiral, moving around
Mm.
on the
Mm.
ground, one by one by one, until he's created this absolutely gorgeous mandala. But it's
Wow.
not complete circles of spiral because he's allowed the maroon leaves to intersect. So it's as if it's just like if an archaeologist had just discovered the floor of some fabulous tile, but you haven't swept the dirt away from all of it. It's as if he
Okay.
had
Mm.
uncovered all this gold pattern. You know, you only see it in spots, but yet
Uh-huh.
you can see the synchronicity of it. And it's absolutely beautiful. The idea that it was all done with leaves in a
Yeah.
forest, you know,
Mm.
it's beautiful. It looks like tile. And I don't
Mother.
know what the product was. It's just a fabulous ad.
Oh, okay. Well, Mother Nature is amazing. You know, we
Yeah.
also have we have wildflowers growing, and we have fresh blues and oranges cropping up because the weather is just gorgeous here. I went through my hostas and I was clearing them all out. And when I got down to the middle, there's new growth coming up. So
Yeah.
the earth is a little confused as to is it spring already?
Well, I'm wondering what the concept of color is, how it's manifest in other dimensions. You know, it's a matter of us picking up on certain vibrations and we interpret it as color. So I
Mhm.
wonder what the application of that is when you're in another dimension. I mean, in other words, where Seth is, I wonder at that
Mhm.
point in your development, what are the things that one is picking up on that are enhancements of where you are,
Mhm.
you know?
Now, did we talk about it last week that people didn't see blue?
Right.
Yes,
We
Yeah.
did. We did. Okay. And who knows what other colors are out there that other dimensions see that we aren't
that
open
we
to
don't.
yet. Yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Because
because
magical, we can do all of it.
we have a very narrow
Mhm.
window of vibrations that we pick up on. For instance, dogs and cats have a much wider one.
Mhm.
Dolphins and whales have an even wider one. So there's pickup on many levels that we can't access.
But we can access,
I
but
mean, at this time,
we need to believe that we can
yes,
do, I have to go back to that whole belief system that,
yeah,
when we believe it so completely that
yes,
it will be there.
yeah,
It
we're
will show up.
manifesting those awarenesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep.
if you look at what we can understand and access intelligently
Hmm.
now, and then compare that to what was known, say, in the 1600s, 1200s, whatever, it's quite different. We've come a
Yeah.
ways. We've made some progress.
And I think we're making it faster now. Like I
Yes, I
do think
agree.
everything is speeding
Yeah.
up,
It's
and
speeding
yeah,
up. Yes,
yeah. Because
that's weird.
Because consciously we are believing more, and
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
a positive
Mhm.
way. Like I remember before Seth came into my life that I just always was waiting for the shoe to drop. What bad could happen next? What next?
Oh,
And now it is that we're living a magical life.
Yes,
We have enough.
exactly.
Everything is good. Our health is good. I think about like my grandmother and my mother. My mother never, and she wasn't that old. I never saw her on the floor playing with grandchildren. And
Really?
no, never. And they just take it for granted, normal, that that's what I do. I mean,
Yes. Me
yeah.
too.
And I
Me
can
too.
do that stuff. And when I think about them, like my grandmother, I never saw my grandmother in pants. Like she only wore
Oh,
skirts
me
and
either.
dresses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah, like how times have changed just within our lifetime. We are getting younger by the minute.
Very much
Well,
I
so.
love that.
when my grandmother was 64, she looked old to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
I agree. I agree
So yeah,
so
we're
much.
getting
I
younger
don't
by the
feel
minute.
it. But yes.
Yes, that's so true. My grandmother was such a very, very conservative Victorian woman.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
mm,
Yeah, my mother and my grandmother were like that. My mother
Oh,
actually
not my mother.
did wear pants towards the end, but when I was young, she was in dresses only.
mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that I can remember that changing as I reached, say, 9 or 10,
Hmm.
and it was quite scandalous. And see, we're talking about a time period that coincided with, say, Katharine Hepburn insisting on wearing pants in one of her movies, and she fought the studio about it. You
Well,
know,
when
they
we
didn't
went,
want.
I think in sixth grade, seventh grade, we had to wear a dress.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't wear pants, and it was a
Hmm.
wonderful day when we could.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, God, Boy, we're going back now. I remember in grade school wearing pants underneath my skirt just
Yes,
to keep my legs
that was
warm.
okay.
Yeah, that was okay.
okay.
And we had to take them off when we got there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had little corduroy
Yeah.
pants that went underneath the dress
So
with
funny.
little Mary Jane shoes and all
Yeah.
that.
I don't think I've worn a dress since.
There was this thing called Buster something, Buster Brown
Buster
shoes.
Buster
Browns.
Brown.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, we all grew up in the same era.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember PF Flyers?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, that's a whole bunch of really
That's
good memories.
a whole
Yep.
different life.
I
Yeah.
remember going for Keds, and I remember running up and down the aisles, and I can run faster in these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's so true.
yeah. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
But you see, when you overlay that with the words where Seth is telling you that all of those very nows still are there.
Yes.
And where he's talking in one that I read just 2 days ago or yesterday, where he was saying that his probable selves, he experienced them, but that then he went on his own way and they went on their own way and they parted company. It wasn't like he keeps thinking back to that time of when that was a probable self that he knew of, or an incarnation, a previous incarnation. He's saying that they still have life,
Hmm.
that now still exists, and that person who was in that now has their own way. They have their own life um, vector, and they're still existent. And he's moved on and gone to explore some other facets of himself
Yeah.
that expanded now.
Now I've got a couple of. I've been so chatty. I have not been watching Facebook, so I have to catch up a little bit here. And I put my glasses on so I could read. So Shaw is on, and she says, "I think it appears as if it's our own universe, but it's a different reality. Maybe because it's so similar to our own ideas, the universe. It seems to appear to be the same one we're in. Maybe."
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it is. It is. Miriam is on. Hi, Miriam.
Hello.
Oh, I sent Miriam a chip too. I hope you got it. So she says, I'm on the right meeting, I think. I guess those are the only two. Then it just, let's see, Patricia Presley is watching, and Andy Monheit. Hi, Andy. Miriam Carlton Grant is watching. Joe was on. I said that. Michael Tran, Anna, Michael Chambers, Kathleen, Rosalie. So, hi. Oh, Miriam says, hi. Yes, I got the chip. All right, good.
Good.
I like to know that the mailing gets where it needs to go.
Mhm.
So, because, I don't get any reports of anything unless you guys let me know. So, thank you. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. It's so happy to send them out.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen
Well,
the
I wanted
notice.
to
Very
sleep on
special.
mine, but I didn't want to break it.
Oh, you
Oh,
could
yeah.
put it under your
Under my
pillow. It'll be fine.
pillow.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
think?
yeah. And you know what? Those are coin holders. So if
Yes,
you
I saw
collect
that.
coins, that's what we use, and we take all the guts out and put the little felt in there, and that kind of protects them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great way of packaging it.
We look, the first ones we sent out in just baggies,
Oh,
and
yeah.
when they were returned to us, they were pretty much powderized. And they
Uh-huh.
go through the machines, they were a mess. So we're like, oh boy, well, we better not do this anymore. So we went looking for a better solution and came up with those little holders.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
It's a prized possession.
Yeah.
I was
Nice.
happy.
Very,
Well,
very
I'm
unique.
so looking forward to when everybody can just come here and visit and spend time in that space.
Mm.
And hopefully by spring, you know, this is all lifted and we have now a way where we can all be together.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody has noticed, but Ron Card just bought a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
So the store, what happened there was
Had a birthday.
last year when we had Rob's birthday, a woman, I don't know if she saw an article or what, but anyway, she contacted Oshara and I. Did we want the stuff that was there? And you know, we didn't have the money to buy it. Oshara or Ron was with us, so we gave Ron her information. And at that time, she said, "Oh, it's just, you know, some old cameras." And so it didn't sound very interesting. But Ron kept talking with her, and she did have some paintings, but she didn't want to sell them. Well, apparently Ron got her to sell everything. So
Oh,
there are,
Wow.
and some of the paintings that Jane did are just so beautiful and colorful, and they're
yes.
just gorgeous. So I think they're in a storage unit up here still, and he will be coming up to get them. So I don't know when. He hasn't contacted us really, but we did offer, you know, if he comes all the way up here to get this stuff, that of course he can stay at the Seth house.
Mhm.
You know, he's always welcome there.
Yeah.
But that, you know, there were, like, he sent pictures of the stuff. There were manuscripts, there
Yeah.
was paintings, there
He posted a
was,
few pictures of the
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's a vast amount.
It
Yeah.
is a vast amount, and I am shocked that it was left in the house. And luckily, the real estate lady knew about Jane and said that, you know, put this stuff away, do not get rid of it.
Mhm.
And the woman
Mhm.
heeded her advice and held on to it. And she is a psychic from the area. She's been here
Yeah.
at this center
Mhm.
before. I've never met her personally. Some of the other people that have worked here with me have met her. So
Mhm.
she's a
How does
nice
she,
lady.
how does she go about getting the Seth stuff
She
into
bought
her
the
house
house.
to sell?
She bought the
And it
Hill
was
House.
just part of the house?
Yeah, they left it in the
Oh,
cellar. She found all this stuff in the cellar.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And
Wow.
the Hill House sat vacant for years.
I
It
heard that.
wasn't sold.
Mhm.
I knew neighbors up there, and this is before I knew anything about Seth. And I remember them, we were up there for a party one night, and they said, "Oh, yeah, that house over there will never sell. They did dark magic there, and they did Ouija board, and,
Oh,
you know, there's ghosts over there, and nobody wants that house." And then when I met up with Oshara and we drove by
Lord.
that, she drove me by the house, and I'm like, holy shit, I know this house. I heard the story. I had no idea it was connected at all. So that
That's
house,
amazing.
Oh.
yes. And it sold shortly after I had seen it, you know, way back
Mhm.
when. And then she pretty much flipped it, and you wouldn't even recognize the house now. Now it's a 2-story house. So
Oh.
people put a second story on it, and they've changed it so much
Mm.
that most people that have seen it when Rob still owned it, they swear it's a different house, but it's the right address.
Ah.
Yeah. So the lady just put everything away until the right time. When she saw the Seth House information, she figured that was it. So so Ron
Oh.
will be adding to his collection.
Wow.
didn't he
He said,
didn't he buy a lot of stuff from Laurel?
yes.
Yes. A lot of his, probably most of his stuff came from Laurel, and the
Yeah.
most
That's what I
iconic
thought.
stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But then he has bought
Mm.
through eBay, and he's found things in other ways.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said his plans to have a museum have just expanded greatly.
Yeah, and it sounds like, so when he came up to the Seth house 2 years ago, he brought 1 carload full. And
Mhm.
he said his
Mm.
wife wouldn't even fit in the car. It was so full. It
Oh.
was like a puzzle. He put everything together. And he said it's a car full that he'll be picking up. So
Mhm.
yeah, so he's pretty much
Wow.
doubled the collection.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Needs a truck.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have anything on display at the Seth house?
Well, none of it that was Ron's. We have a painting that Rob did that was donated to the Seth house. by, oh my gosh, John Spaziani,
Mm.
which was a little boy, 10 years old when Jane lived at the house. And he,
Mhm.
yeah. So we have that, and we have prints of the iconic pictures that Mary Dillman gave us. She donated them to the Seth House. Then Oshar and I purchased from Laurel one of Jane's paintings. So that is at the Seth House still. We have one manuscript that was given to people, and then they donate it to us. So there's a few things, but
Mhm.
Ron really has the bulk.
You
But
know,
you like the walls.
I have some pages from one of our manuscripts that somebody gave me. Might have been Lawrence, in sheet protectors. I should send it to you.
We would love that. Copies, yeah, great,
Interesting.
yeah. And we have her. I don't know if it was her junior or her senior year of college. We have that's where that writing that I put on Facebook
Mhm. Mhm.
2 weeks ago. We have that in sheet protectors. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so as people are donating things and giving things to the Seth House, we do have them on display. A lot
Yeah.
of the
The more
memes.
people find out where they can send it, when they discover that there's someone who, really cares about the thing.
Absolutely. There was a gentleman, Donald Northrup. He gave us all of, and he gave us the originals. He made copies for himself, gave us the originals, and they are all letters between him and Rob. So it would have been after
Oh,
Jane's passing,
yeah.
and they had a back and forth conversation. So we do have all those. I haven't even looked through them all yet. So
Mhm.
and they're over there. So yeah.
Wow.
And he was able to
But
visit the Seth House and stay and meditate there. So
Oh, that's nice.
it is. Yeah. Tian Mei donated the books in Chinese. So
Oh.
we have the whole Seth collection in Chinese that are there in apartment 5. And she also sent the books that Dr. Shu had done.
Mhm.
So they're all there.
That's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, so we need to get the whole house real soon because it's going to be
Mhm.
exploding at the seams with all the stuff that's coming in.
That's right. Well, you
Yeah.
will. You
Yeah.
will.
Oh yeah. I
so
think it's coming soon.
Yeah.
I just
the
feel it in
Seth,
the air.
I have questions about the Seth House.
Hmm.
Uh, who owns the Seth House? Does a nonprofit own it, or are they trying to buy it?
No, the nonprofit is trying to buy it. So the Seth House is not for sale. A local guy owns it. He lives in Pennsylvania, and he doesn't want to sell it, but
Mhm.
he just really likes Oshara. So he's given us a price, and we're trying to raise that money. So we have about 1/4 of it so
Mhm.
far. So that's why we're always asking for donations. So not only are we trying to raise the money to purchase the house, but we also have to pay the rent for the 2 apartments that we do have control over, and then what little bills come in. So
Mhm.
that's why we need to ask for donations on a regular basis.
Mhm.
We have monthly bills, and once we do raise the money to purchase the house, the bills are going to go up exponentially. you know it's a 8 apartment mansion, so just the gas and electric alone is going to
Mhm.
be quite a lot to keep up every month.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you'll still be renting apartments out, so they'll hopefully be covering your overhead.
Well, maybe in the very beginning, but our hope and goal really is that people won't be living there except maybe caretakers on a
Mhm.
regular basis, and that it is a place where people could come and could study, and yes, do like an Airbnb type thing, but not call it that. But for people that want to come in, that want to spend the time to meditate and to
Like
study.
a Seth retreat, Seth
Kinda,
Yes.
yeah,
retreat center.
exactly,
Exactly.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But the house is in much need of updating. Some foundational work. Now we were told that he put a new furnace in, so that's a good thing. But it needs exterior work. It's got in the front of apartment 1A, which is the first one Oshar and I had. There's, as you're just walking up the front stairs, you can almost see the inside of the house. It's rotting. So there's just it needs to be taken care of desperately. So there's just going to be restoration bills. So, you know, her and I restored 5 with the help of probably about 6 friends that came on a regular basis. You know, thank God we had our little carpenter friend. He did electric, he did plumbing, he did carpentry. I mean, he was a godsend. And then we had people that were scraping and painting and things like that, you know, and we did all that, and everybody just donated their time. You know, we purchased the materials, and Oshar and I aren't, you know, we're both on crutches right now. So,
Yeah.
you know, that time is gone now. So when the 501c3 does purchase this, you know, we're going to need to either get people that can do this kind of work or hire people that can do that kind of work. So it does absolutely need restoration in all of the apartments.
Wow.
Like I can see from the outside, the apartments on the 3rd floor have these beautiful round windows that come out, and one of them is broken, you know, so that needs to be taken out and taken to a glass person and having it done right. So we just don't want, and we don't want to lose the charm of the building from when it was in the 60s and 70s. So, but it
And
does
it
need
needs
to
to
be.
stay green.
Yeah.
It needs, because it was originally yellow, and I think it was, I don't know when it turned green. It was when Rob and Jane lived there. I do believe it was yellow.
Really?
Yes, because if you're reading, what book is it? It is one of the books that Rob did after Jane passed. So it might have been one of the early sessions. He said in the book that we walked by the house and they put this, what did he call it? Garish green on it now. So that tells me that it changed after they moved out. Yeah. Yeah, it's somewhere in one of the books, but it was in Rob's notes.
I think you're right. Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so too.
But the green is very iconic, yes. But it needs to be a better green, and it needs to be not rotting wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all very doable. The house is savable, but it won't be forever. So you know, the not-for-profit needs to get it, and it needs to get it soon. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, it will happen. I know it
Yes.
will.
Yes.
Yeah,
I feel
I
it
know
too.
that. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. So
Yeah.
I know that's coming.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal. That's why we're here.
Well, first, the 2 of you have got to get well.
Oh, and we are. We're getting well. But you know what? We don't want to be standing on ladders and scraping paint anyway. You know, here we are, 60 and 61, and you know, it's time. We've done most of the hard work so far, and we've got everything in pretty good shape. And I would say 5 is fairly restored. You know, it's livable, it's clean. I would like to take it back to what it might have looked like during their time, like fixing the windows in the art room where they just boarded up stuff now. So I'd like to be able to open that.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm hearing. I think he's blowing up a tire. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing. And I was just thinking about doing the meditation, but yeah, it's not going to work right here. Not at all. We'll just wait a minute. He fixes old cars back there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's a wonderful thing to know how to do.
it is. And he's just, yeah. Oh, he's got a
I
camper.
wonder if he knows how to paint.
I don't know. I don't know. So those are all the reasons why, we need to ask for donations for the Seth House. And they're coming in, and we appreciate everyone. And, so with a donation of $20 or more, you'll get a chip. You
Yeah.
get a piece of the Seth House, it goes out. And it's exciting, right? Right, Audrey?
I'm trying to think that there need to be a few fundraisers you can have.
Well, we have tried GoFundMe.
Mhm.
Truly, the Facebook birthdays work the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I did my birthday. We've done Oshar's birthday, and they do raise money. And anybody could list the Seth House on their birthday, and anybody could actually do a fundraiser for the Seth House on Facebook. So all you Facebook people out there, if you go to the Seth House Facebook page, you can just say, start a fundraiser. And you just choose the Seth House, the corporation, the Seth House, the one that says 501c3 on it, and then you invite your friends.
Yeah.
So it does work. Yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting. I think I am the only one of my friends that knows about Seth.
Well, what I have found is if you are interested in something, that quite often your friends are very willing to help you,
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't know the exact cause.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things about this is it's restoration of an old mansion, a
Yeah.
Victorian
Yeah.
mansion. So that's a plus. Plus, it's the spiritual community of Seth that
Yeah.
we're trying to preserve and promote teachings that are very valuable to people. So we can reach people on a couple of different levels. The local people here just really want us to have it. Oh my God, they're like, let those girls buy that place already, because it's an eyesore. It is truly an eyesore. It is the worst looking house on the block.
Oh.
Oh, it's terrible. They
Oh.
have, Elmira has been, not the city, but people have been buying up these homes that were really owned by slumlords, and they have been restoring them and making them look better and improving the community. And this one sits there. And it's just, it's not landscaped well. The paint is, it's not even the paint that's chipping. They put on, I don't know what it's called. It's like particle board pieces.
Yeah.
And it's like rotting from the bottom parts of it up. So like delamination, I think they call it. Yeah.
Maybe you could apply to some of the home restoration shows on TV, and maybe somebody can come out and do a yard makeover, or somebody can come in and do a.
So once the not-for-profit owns the building,
Right.
it will open itself up to grants and other ways. But right now, we don't own it. So, so we can't apply for anything.
Right.
So the
I
first thing
understand that.
is we need to own it. That is the first thing. And then from there we can move on. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So to save a ugly old house that had wonderful things happen in it, donate to the sethhouse.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, it's coming. It's coming. I know
It
it
is. It's getting closer and closer. Like I remember, back in the beginning, we had a hard time even paying the bills. And right now, the 501c3 is able to pay its bills every month, and we don't owe anybody anything. So we are, and I don't know that there's a lot of not-for-profits that can say that. We have no outstanding debt to anybody. So it is, funding itself right now through
That's
donations.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because we don't sell anything. We just don't do anything like that. You know, all we do is collect donations. And this year, 2020, has been difficult because
Of course.
we usually had 3 big fundraisers, and we're not going to be able to have any of them this year. So Jane's birthday was a huge one. Rob's birthday, we did one, and then we do an open house. 2 weeks before Christmas, I think they did it last year, and we can't do any of them.
Hmm.
So yeah, pretty much Elmira's in lockdown too.
Yeah, this is all
Mhm.
amazing. It's gonna go. I'll
It
be
is. So
glad when the whole Corona thing gets on a plane and leaves.
absolutely, and it is going to go away. I know that.
Yeah, it is.
It's just another part of consciousness that
W-
had
We
its.
had a massive lesson to learn.
We did, and or it did, and I hope it got it now, and it can go
Yeah,
away. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we're hoping for Jane's birthday, like that is what, we've given up on the Christmas one right now, unless something drastic happens. But by, what is it? I
Yeah,
think it's May 8th is Jane's birthday, I think.
yeah.
So we're hoping for that one to be our next big event. I want
Mm-hmm.
to get back to events, that's awesome. So,
Oh
well,
yeah,
it's
that'll be good.
it's quiet now behind me.
Yeah,
Would we like to try to get this astral projection in? This is a
yeah.
very short one. And it's really, I would say that it's probably not something that you're going to be able to project right now. However, we never know, especially with Martin. Um, he has great experiences, but this is a very short one.
Okay.
So let's settle in and let's try to do this little psi time. So everybody in Facebook land and on YouTube, and then our local people that are right with us on Zoom, let's settle in, close our eyes, and unify the space together using our breath. With the first breath, take it in through your nose all the way down deep to your belly and hold, and then release fully through your mouth. And now take a second breath way down deep in your belly and hold and release slowly through your mouth with a sigh at the end. And now just listen to my voice as I read Seth's words on astral projection technique number 3. I highly recommend this method to both of you. When you awaken or seem to in the middle of the night, try simply to get out of the physical body. Simply try to get out of bed, you see, and to walk into another room while the physical body stays where it is. If you keep this in mind, generally speaking, then you will find yourself able to do so within a brief time. It is a pleasant and easy way to achieve a projection, and with some experience, you will discover that you can maintain good control. Walk out of your apartment and outside. You may then attempt normal locomotion or levitation. There is little strain with this method, and it has benefits from several viewpoints. Simply keep the method in mind so that you are alert to the initial favorable circumstances. You may be half awake. You may be in a false awakening. This method will work in either case. It offers good possibilities in another direction. You can, if you want to do so, look back at your own body. You must want to do this, however. Often, you do not want to see the body by itself, so to speak, and so you choose methods that make this more difficult. Just this one exercise will sharpen your control greatly. It is an ABC, you see. The experience will be much less startling to the ego than an abrupt projection and the ordinary nature of activities. Walking into the next room, for example, will be reassuring. You are more calm and you are in your own surroundings. Now, while our eyes are still closed, after hearing what Seth said, let's imagine for a moment that you are just waking up from a nap and you simply try to get up out of your body and walk into another room. And let's just take a few minutes to experience this while we are together and safe. And now it is time to come back to your physical body and resume Seth Talk with us today. Take your time, and when you are ready, take a few deep breaths, wiggle your fingers and toes, and open your eyes and come back to the program.
Wow. Powerful.
Wow. Any success?
Yes, but it
Okay.
was strange. I was in a place where there was this very large brick wall, very old and uneven on the top, but I was staring at a very old wall of antiquity and it was gold colored bricks.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I don't know where I was, but it
Mm-hmm.
was interesting that I can remember popping out about 3 times before I could be out,
Okay.
you
All
know,
right.
out and then right back in and
And
then
again
out
with
and then.
practice. So I think the locomotion part is what really takes practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you went out to a unknown location
Yeah. And I was
where
just so shocked to be out.
uh-huh. Beautiful.
Effortlessly. I've tried it so many times with absolutely no success whatsoever. I mean, 20, 30 times.
Oh
And this
wow.
just happened like 3 times in quick succession until I
Okay.
actually got out to stay out,
All right.
you know.
Okay.
And I could
Beautiful.
hear you in the background very faintly.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would fade out. And then I'd suddenly remember I was hearing you.
Oh wow. Nice. I've been trying this exercise, and what happens is I'll I I've been fully like I'll kind of wake up and be groggy, and then I will open my eyes and think, darn, I forgot to try it. So but it's getting closer to my
Mm-hmm.
remembering, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Because
I
I wouldn't
haven't.
forget that I was
Right.
hearing you.
Oh, okay.
You see,
I
it would
I
fade out.
uh-huh, probably because you were leaving.
Exactly. As I would concentrate more on the realization that, oh my God, I've done it. I'm out. And then I'd sit back in and I'd hear your voice. And then I was
Ah,
gone without realizing I was until
wow.
you suddenly start to hear it again and go back to what you.
Okay.
But
Beau-
I was out. I was aware of 3 separate, very distinct impressions of having stepped out.
Beautiful. Woo. Anybody else have any experiences? How about you, Audrey? Oh, you're muted.
Oh yeah.
You're mute. You're still muted. Let me see what I can do. There you go.
No, too much noise.
Okay. All right. Martin, how about you?
I didn't really have any major experience I can think of. I was really floating quite a bit more than what I sensed before. But yeah, I didn't really land anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeff?
You know, no, I'm just really tired today.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, I would be more energetic.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Reading some Facebook people. Nobody has mentioned the meditation, but let's see. Mark Guys was on. He was watched a little. He said fun, but he had to leave. Joe said, wow, love to see Jane and Rob's paintings. Hopefully they'll be posted. There were some already posted, Joe, so check out Ron Card's posts. He put some pictures on, and you know, there's a lot of it's pictures taken from a distance, so you have to kind of blow them up. Michael Chambers wants to know, does anyone ever channel Seth in these meetings? Well, no. No, Michael, we haven't. That would be interesting. We were hoping someday that Seth would show up as a little box, you know, and start talking to us.
Yeah, right.
So far that
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet, but we're
That'd be
open.
like direct voice channeling, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're open to that.
Yeah.
He also
Have you
said
heard of that? Direct voice channeling?
no.
Oh, sorry.
I've done it for years.
You know,
Yeah.
I have Sethians that I know that are channelers. They just don't channel Seth. I don't
Right.
think Seth
Exactly.
is coming back.
Yep.
But we haven't even had anybody on here to channel anybody, you know, let alone Seth.
Oh, you should invite Thomas. Thomas Leichhardt, I believe he is. He's from our Bay Area Seth group. He's gotten into channeling and he does his own thing and he's really good. And he's a Sethi. No, he's really good. I was really taken back by it.
Invite him.
Yeah, it's
Ask
a
him.
very
Let him know.
amazing feeling.
Invite him. You've got the information. You can send an invite to him. Yes, absolutely.
I'll be talking to him. We're going to have another session on Wednesday.
Okay.
It's like a Seth group, only it's with what he's doing. It's just a few groups of people, and as he's practicing, but he's right there. Yeah, no, it's a real deal.
Well, we can have him come in as a special guest, and he, you know, you talk to him and see how he would like to do it. And sure, we're open for that. That's great. Yeah, thank you.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Michael also commented, he said, COVID is like the Hong Kong flu in 1968. Lasted 2 years. I didn't know that.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
I've heard of the Hong Kong flu. Yeah.
I've heard of it too, but I didn't know it lasted that long. And I don't remember it having any kind of an impact. Of course, 1968, I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it said it killed 2 or 3 million people. I did not know that.
I had just gotten married. First time. Yeah.
I was 12.
I had just reached Cuba.
That's cool.
Yeah.
1968. Yeah. Just stepped off the plane and
wow. Can you guys believe there's like 10 minutes left? We have been
Wow.
I know. This has been
that meditation really went.
I seem to have lost the sound.
Lost the sound?
It didn't seem like it lasted very long. But,
How long was the meditation?
I don't know. Oh, the when I was quiet, it was just
when
2
you're
minutes.
doing it. No, when you were doing it.
I didn't time it. I don't know.
The whole thing, I wonder how long that was. Because it seemed like it was an hour.
Yeah, I
Oh,
stayed in it quite a while, and
Yeah.
it was a
I
very
did.
short one. I don't think it could have been more than 7 to 8 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeff
But
lost
that,
his
yeah.
sound, so he popped out. He may pop back in. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he lost his sound.
I was talking about direct voice. That's where the mean, rather than having the spirit speak through them, the spirit actually stands beside them and speaks outside them.
Wow.
Really?
That's
I
that's
didn't
what
know
direct.
that.
Yeah.
To me, direct voice was
So,
where it's speaking through you. It's directly the voice of that person.
oh, that might
Interesting.
be called that sometime. I don't know. I
So,
always
but the
what
person channeling
what would really
doesn't.
be cool is,
It's coming through my
yeah,
vocal cords.
the person is channeling the spirit, but it's the person's energy that's allowing the spirit to come through, but
Yeah,
the
but it
spirit is
speaks through
actually
your mouth.
speaking
Yeah,
directly.
it speaks through
Well,
your mouth.
in this case, not using your mouth, but using its own mouth.
I never heard of
Wow,
that.
But
I have never heard of that.
I'd love to see
yeah,
that.
it's yeah,
There are
it is
spirit.
really. If
How?
we
I
have
mean,
had,
I don't understand.
well, that mouth is created from the energy of the channeler.
Mm,
It's a manifestation, a materialization, I guess you would say.
mm,
But that would be interesting to see if Seth would come through that way.
So it's kind of like ventriloquism,
mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe.
maybe, yeah, I guess so in a
Hmm.
way, yeah.
Okay.
But
Wow.
except the medium's mouth nothing is coming out of the medium's mouth.
It is actually coming from the entity
It's actually
next to.
coming from the entity. Yeah.
So
And
from.
that's the experience that I had when I was little with my mother. The
Mm.
entity that I would see, I mean, that would appear, she could hear it talking. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah, not
Wow.
through me, but with me. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
I heard
yeah.
a discarnate voice in Queens. Me and my sister were in the house and we heard a voice in the living room and we both ran in and nobody was there.
oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Fun.
Interesting. No, I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Well,
think it
when you
was
were
a
talking,
bleed through reality in my case, like somebody coming through or
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about Seth having his own little box. Well, that would be one way.
Jeff,
Good.
you still don't have audio? Oh, I guess not.
No.
He's lost his
He
audio.
said he'll
So
see us next week. Yeah.
yeah,
bye.
yeah.
Oh,
Bye,
bye.
Jeff.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye.
All right. Well, I hope he brings this channeler on that he has
That
a
would be
lot.
so exciting.
That would be. That
My
would be.
goodness.
And you know, it'd be a nice break for people to have,
Yeah.
you know, something else other than
Yes.
just our talking, blathering. Oh, Michael Chambers, he said direct voice is called trans mediumship. The spirit speaks through the channeler out of their mouth.
Oh, maybe I've been calling it the wrong thing then. Okay.
Maybe. So that's posted on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what
Thank
I
you, Michael.
experienced.
So, and if I'm reading this right, the spirit speaks through the channeler out their mouth. So
Yes,
if I
using
was
their mouth.
channeling, you'd be using my mouth, my vocal cords,
Mhm.
and that's called trans mediumship.
It doesn't necessarily sound like you,
Correct. Like
but
Seth
it's
didn't
using
sound like
your
Jane.
vocal cords.
All right.
Exactly.
But what
Exactly.
Martin is saying is if I'm channeling, my energy is creating a field over here to let the entity speak over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not using
Yeah.
my vocal cords or my mouth.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's what you're saying, Michael, or if you're saying like more like Jane was a trans mediumship.
Yeah.
Interesting.
we'll have, I know there's so much to all of this, and I know that
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
And
possible,
it's
and
been
it's
going on for hundreds of years. I mean, it's just
yeah.
probably more like hundreds
thousands.
of thousands.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And you have the Edgar Casey's and so forth.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
As far back as time is recorded,
Exactly.
there has been magic and spells and people talking through each other. Spirit world. Probably less of it in these last 200 years where
Hmm.
things have been written down so much. But
Yes,
when it was oral tradition, I think that it was very prevalent.
I agree. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I love it that we're going back to this goddess feminine energy stuff. You know,
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
in the very beginning, I've been reading this Oversoul 7 trilogy. I just finished the second book, and I am just so darn excited about the things that it said in it. One of the things it said when it was talking about the old god's home, I thought that was so cute. But they were all fighting, and Jesus says, "I'm tired of coming back and being crucified and being a man." He goes, the divine goddesses are rising, and he says, "I'm going to come back as one of them."
Yes,
And
Yeah.
I'm like, woohoo! That's awesome.
that
Well,
would
that's
be
what the
interesting.
Christian Scientists believed. I mean, that's what Mary Baker Eddy said she was. She said she was the feminine manifestation of Jesus.
Oh,
Mm.
I
Yeah, which I thought was
oh,
really profound.
okay.
Yes, I mean, and I'm not saying she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Interesting.
I was very brought up Catholic and knew nothing else. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I really don't know about any of these other religions and what they believe. So that's fascinating.
Catholicism really has an advantage in that Catholicism has Mary,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that really is just awesome. To me, that's the glory of Catholicism, in my opinion, is the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
But that whole Mary Joseph baby Jesus thing was an exact, absolute carbon copy of the Egyptian religion
yeah. Well, yeah, it occurred in
pantheon.
many, many different.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
absolute copy.
it's a universal theme.
Yes,
It really is.
yes.
Yeah,
I mean, even
yeah.
down to the picture of her sitting there with the baby Jesus on her lap and so forth.
Yep.
That's right
Yeah,
out of the whole Egyptian. There's thousands of
yeah,
drawings of that on the walls of the pyramids.
Hmm.
yeah.
Isis, Horus.
Oh,
I
okay.
watched something on TV about that, and it evolved from the Egyptian
Yes.
gods and goddesses, Christianity.
Well, so many of
Mhm.
the Greeks went to Egypt to study the occult. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you had the Egyptian mystery schools, and anybody who was anybody went there to study and then went back to their own civilization, their own ethnicity, and
Mm-hmm.
took those concepts with them. So
Yeah.
it's been copied and copied and
Yeah.
copied and
Mm-hmm.
copied so
Well,
much.
and even in the historical myth of Jesus, they went to Egypt as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 So that doesn't surprise me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry that the gardens and library of Alexandria was destroyed because the thousands and thousands of parchment manuscripts about medicine and herbal solutions and philosophy and record of the religions and stuff. I mean, so much was destroyed and tossed
Yeah.
us into a dark
History.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who knows
All
what
the
what
history
we're
of humanity that was
rediscovering.
lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're trying to claim it all back. You know, slow
And
going.
we will.
Yeah.
And we
Yes,
will.
we will.
Yeah.
Slowly,
Absolutely.
slowly.
Yeah.
All
This stuff
right.
has come and
Shall be
gone so many
restored.
times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I keep hearing about the discovery of very ancient civilizations that came before the one that we know of.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing. A lot
Yeah.
of stuff coming out, especially the more sophisticated the archaeological tools become. You know, a lot of it now you can look in the ground and see what it is before they even disturb the dirt.
Yes. Yeah. Or
That's helpful.
that's how they found many of the things in South America, because
Yes,
they could see under the foliage.
under the dirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing that in the
Mm.
sea as well now.
Yes, I did see that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of all that they're discovering that we didn't have access to before.
And it's just going to get faster, and yeah, the more
Yeah,
technology moves on.
yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we're going to call it a day. You know, we
It's a
lost
day.
Jeffy, and I hope we have a guest next week. That's very exciting to me.
It
So
is. It
hopefully
is.
put out those good vibes that, you know, he's available and he can join
Mhm.
us. And if not, we'll schedule him for some time, and I'll make
Mhm.
sure that I put a post out and, you know, get him, you know,
Well,
raised
we'll
a little
send
bit.
some energy to you and Oshar.
Oh, thank
Excuse me.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We
And
wanna
but we are doing much better. Thank you.
good.
You know, I'm sitting here. Last week I had to get up and walk around, and I don't have a brace on this time though, so I'm
Mhm.
just sitting here, so it's okay. But thank you for all the good energy, and we
Yeah.
will send some to your grandson as well.
Thank you.
And yeah,
That would be
absolutely.
great.
Yeah, and all that's around him. You know that
Mhm.
everybody is safe. You know.
He did a very beautiful tribute to Jack today. Today over here in England is what they call Remembrance Sunday, where all the men who were veterans of either the two world wars or even any war before that, but mainly World War One and Two,
Mm-hmm.
they all march and they go to what they call the cenotaph and they lay wreaths. The Queen was there. All these people lay wreaths. And so all veterans were honored. And I noticed on Facebook he had sent this beautiful tribute to Jack and thanked him for all that the veterans had done and how he thought he was the greatest man on the planet and all this stuff. Well, when I
Wow.
read it to Jack, oh, it took his
Oh,
brain away. I mean, he just, oh my goodness. It was
Well,
lovely.
yeah.
that is
So
lovely.
that remembrance stuff is the
It,
day, the
it,
vibe of the day here.
oh, nice.
So you had
Well,
cathedrals, you had all kinds of the different Scottish bands came out and they marched
oh,
in their kilts
nice.
and all kinds of stuff. It's the whole
Well,
weekend. It's been lovely.
we want to say to Jack, thank you from the Seth House on Remembrance Day.
I will
Yeah.
pass that along. I'll let him see
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
You can let him listen to the last 2 minutes.
Yes, I
But
will.
that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Yeah.
Yes, I will do.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
thankful for that too. He was a
Yeah.
Royal Marine Commando. So
Oh,
sometimes he tells me, men who have been veterans will very often not tell you anything about what they went through.
that is
They
true.
don't like to
Yes,
talk about it.
That
And
is so
so
true.
that
Yep.
is
in
true.
20 years, only now has he even talked about it, in
Yep.
the
Mm.
last 2 years, say.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so it's very interesting hearing him go into some of what he went through
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for those times. Some of the things he said, I learned a lot from war. We were talking about what the purpose of war could possibly be in terms of a soul needing to learn from the wisdom that was available within that context, within the context of that manifestation. Why
Mm-hmm.
else, would you go through it? But there are things you can only learn in certain situations.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't need to continuously recreate
Right.
that particular wisdom, So
Yeah.
as long as we can keep reminding ourselves of what can be learned from it, then we don't have to repeat it.
Right. Right. So we will remember.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Jack. And
I'm
thanks
telling
to everybody else out there.
everybody for
Yeah.
their service. My God.
Yeah. Yeah. Veterans Day is coming up here in the United States
Exactly.
as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
He
Yeah.
asked if we had anything comparable, and I said, yes, we do, for the same wars.
Yes, absolutely.
See, so
And
it's the same.
yeah. Now I don't do it anymore, but when I was open and practicing on a regular basis once a month, I always did Reiki for veterans. So they were
Oh,
invited in and there was no charge, and I always had at least 3 other Reiki practitioners that worked with me. So, 4 people would work on each veteran. And
Wow.
yeah. And we made tremendous friends with many of these
Mm-hmm.
men and women both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I did work with a couple from World War II. I never had anyone from World War I,
Yeah.
but the vast majority were Vietnam and Korea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come
That's
here.
Korea. Yeah.
And then some of the women that were coming here were from Afghanistan, and
Mm-hmm.
they were frontline people, which was unheard of in the older wars.
Yes.
So it was a great service. And I don't even know the veterans now, they're not even doing the what they call it, stand down, that we usually go to in November, and where they give surplus supplies to
Mm-hmm.
the veterans. And I got a notification that they weren't doing it this year. I think they're still getting the men stuff, they're just doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
So
Everything's different now.
yeah, the
Just
veterans
for the
aren't
right now.
losing anything, they're just not having an event where everybody gathers together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they always tried to include the community in that, so that the fellas knew where there was resources for them to go. So yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, our servicemen and women are so important in, uh,
And
just
they've been so
making.
helpful with the coronavirus thing. There's so many of them who have joined with the various hospital groups. And
Oh,
what the doctors and nurses are doing, they mentioned that there was so much help that came from the military, from their medical
oh,
community. I didn't
okay.
realize that.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
So that's
So
interesting.
we thank all our military men and women for everything that you guys have
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, on that note, I'm gonna say goodbye, and we'll see
Bye
you
bye.
guys. We'll see you guys all next week. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank
Yeah.
Bye.
you,
Thank
our
you.
Facebook friends. Love you all. Bye
Bye.
bye.